Good morning. I am Christelle Hamouche, clinical psychologist at DPRC. Today, I will be talking about code of conduct. This presentation will be divided into 4 parts. At the first part, I will be talking about code of conduct, to whom is this code of conduct intended for, the organizational commitment, and the principles, ethics as a company that puts people at the heart of its concerns. So Code of Conduct has been designed as a practical guide and quality standards in which essential principles have been gathered in order to guide our reflections, better understand what is expected, make the best possible decision, adopt in all circumstances a behavior of integrity and responsibility, always with accuracy and objectivity. To whom is this Code of Conduct intended for? Code of Conduct prevents the corruption. Therefore, Code of Conduct is applied to all employees, permanent and temporary, salaried or managerial workers, regardless of our position in the company and the situations we may face. This concerns each and every one of us. Our commitment is reflected at all levels of the company and the priority we give to the well-being and quality of life and care of our patients and families. It is a responsibility shared by all of us, assumed on a daily basis. All employees must avoid, while carrying out their duties, any conflict of interest between their private activities and government interests and operations. They shall not place themselves in any position where allegations of conflict of interest could be made. The organizational commitment. DPRC is committed to create an environment in which the individual differences and contributions of all team members are recognized and valued. Create a working environment that promotes dignity and respect for every employee and patient. Attract and retain a skilled and diverse workforce that best represents the talent available in the communities in which our asset is located and our employees reside. Ensure that all employees are confident and will be treated fairly when issues take place. Console human errors. Coach employees with at-risk behavior and define reckless behavior for further sanctions. Design a safe system that will reduce the opportunity for human errors and capture errors before they reach patients. Not tolerate any form of intimidation, bullying, victimization, defamation, or harassment, and to take disciplinary action against those who violate this policy. DPRC, with a positive safety culture, is characterized by communications founded on mutual trust, shared perceptions of the importance of safety, and confidence in the efficacy of preventive measures. The principles. Ethics as a company that puts people at the heart of its concerns. Principle 1. Respect the rights and dignity of people. Give the utmost consideration and attention to all persons regardless of their physical or mental condition, culture, ethnic or social origin, religion, political opinions, sexual orientation, or age. Example 1. A patient refuses to receive the hygiene care necessary. What do you do to maintain their comfort and dignity? Any situation of refusal of care must be analyzed and discussed in a multidisciplinary team. Even if these refusals can be difficult to accept, the team must try to promote dialogue and avoid confrontation in order to always seek the solution that will best guarantee the dignity of the patient. This approach will lead to proposals that are potentially more acceptable to the person if they have the satisfaction of having been heard. Example 2. A staff member is mocked by his colleagues because of his accent. What do you do? Such actions should not be tolerated, but rather condemned, and those involved should be urged to stop such malicious acts. If the situation does not change, the superiors must be notified. Serious breaches can lead to dismissal. Example 3. A staff member is subjected to inappropriate remarks and gestures by his superior. What do you do? This type of behavior must not be tolerated. Furthermore, it must be condemned, and those concerned must be encouraged to stop such malicious acts. If the situation persists, the management must be notified. Any breach may lead to disciplinary action as provided for in the rules of procedure. Principle 2. ensure health, safety, and well-being for the patients and staff in our facility. Example 1. I work with a colleague who asks me to give an injection to a patient. However, I am not normally authorized to carry out this type of work. What should I do? It is imperative that you tell your colleague that you are not qualified to carry out this task, that you cannot risk endangering people's safety, and that it is better for him to be a bit late, which he will be able to explain to the patients rather than taking a risk. Example 2. A colleague wants to enter a work area in our building to retrieve an object. This area is off limits but does not appear to be dangerous. What should I recommend? All employees must strictly adhere to the safety instructions. By violating this prohibition, your colleague would be acting recklessly and putting himself in danger. An alternative solution must therefore be sought with the line manager. Principle 3. Respect the privacy of patients and the confidentiality of their personal data. Limit the distribution of personal data to authorized persons only. Example 1. A friend asks me for the mobile phone number of my colleagues and patients in order to send them an offer for his business located near the rehab center where I work. I have access to them. Can I provide them? We are not allowed to pass on any personal data about patients. Example number 2. My USB stick was stolen, and it contained personal data about patients. It was not encrypted, but I don't see what the thief could do with it. Such data should not have been on an unencrypted USB key. Orpea is exposed to risk, legal reputation, and the persons mentioned may suffer harm, identity theft, etc. It is essential to respect internal rules on encryption and, if possible, to anonymize files. If encryption is not possible, no company data should be copied to a key. You must report the facts to your superiors and to IT support, indicating as precisely as possible what data was contained on the key. Example number 3. I would like to send one of my colleagues a surprise gift. I asked the human resources to give me his or home address, but they told me it was impossible because it would be an invasion of his or her privacy. Isn't that a bit over the top? The attitude of the human resources is quite appropriate. Personal data should be kept strictly confidential. HR cannot make exceptions. And finally, principle 4. Maintain trust-based relationships with the patients and their families. Maintain a constructive and proactive dialogue with the patients and their families based on mutual listening, respect, benevolence, and empathy. Be open and available to take into account the richness and diversity of others' point of view. Example number 1. A family wants to complain about something that doesn't suit me because if the change they suggest is accepted, I will be forced to implement it and I don't want to. What do I do? You should not prevent a family member from expressing themselves, whatever the subject. As part of your continuous improvement process, we must promote constructive dialogue with the people in our care and their families, who are invited to express themselves and to participate in the life of the facility. For example, as part of committees organized with the families or their representatives. This open dialogue will make it possible to assess the request and analyze the possibility of responding favorably or not. Example number 2. A patient had a fall. As a matter of principle, we should inform the family of this fall, but we fear a strong reaction from them. How should we act? In all circumstances, we owe fair and transparent information to the families who have entrusted us with their relatives and placed their trust in us. We must therefore call them to inform them of this fall, and at the same time, we must re-examine and reassess the benefit risk for this patient as a team. Thank you.